Welcome to the More Joy, Less Stress series for sensitive souls, where I'm sharing with you the Bach Flower Remedies to help you optimize your emotional energy and enjoy your life. This is the final video in this series. I've had so much fun sharing with you about the flower essences and all the individual remedies that you can use by themselves or as a blend to really optimize your emotional energy and your quality of life. Today, what I want to focus on is the difference between some of the misconceptions and some of the facts. Let's start with the most common misperception about the flower essences, and this is that they have fragrance. When we hear the term flower essence, it makes us think of flowers, which have fragrance, and essence, we start to think about maybe the sense of smell, but they actually don't have any fragrance. It's just the essence of the flower at its peak bloom or peak state, and it's the energy of the flower that is used, and it's actually carried in mineral water. Water is the vehicle which delivers that energy to you. Okay, so each flower has its own signature energy that's going to work with a specific emotional trait, personality trait. I meant to say emotional state, personality trait, or mood. And so the flower essences have no fragrance. Sometimes you can add fragrance like essential oils, but oftentimes people confuse essential oils with flower essences, and they are very, very different because sometimes essential oils can have side effects or contraindications that could be harmful or could cause conflict with something else that you're taking, whereas the flower essences, they don't have any side effects or contraindications because they're simply mineral spring water and the essence of the flower, okay? So they don't have any fragrance. Next misperception is that flower essences treat physical illness, and they actually don't. They work exclusively with the emotions, with the personality traits, with mood. So these are some of the more subtle elements of your energy that they help to transform, that they help to shift. However, a lot of people do experience physical transformation as they work through some of the emotional issues that they may be struggling with. So sometimes physical healing or shifts are a byproduct of the emotional healing. Here's an interesting fact about the flower essences. They're actually used in 66 countries worldwide, and the Rescue Remedy blend is the most commonly used homeopathic remedy in the world. And so that's a testament to how powerful the flower essences are, that they actually work. When we hear the term Bach Flower Remedies, people aren't always sure who Bach is. So Dr. Bach was a highly recognized physician. He was a surgeon, an immunologist in London. And this was back in the early 1900s. And he started to realize that there was a direct connection between people's emotional states and their physical well-being. And that kind of led him on that path to discover the flower essences. And he began using them with his patients in his medical practice. And he discovered that people, as they healed their emotions, as they integrated some of their personality traits, then they experienced more of a quality of life as well as physical healing began resulting from using these flower essences. Ultimately, he left his practice, and Dr. Bach created or discovered all 38 of the remedies, and they're actually still in the same garden at the Bach Center where he first began. And these are all naturally occurring plants and trees, and that's where all of the flower essences are sourced still today, is from the Bach Center. The next fact is that it is best to use between 1 and 7 essences in your flower essence blend. So when we look at how to use the flower essences, less is more. And so I know it can be overwhelming when you go to the store and you see all 38 of the essences. You want to just really focus in on what are your most immediate issues, or what are the traits that you're struggling with in yourself the most at that time, and start there. Now, if you're sensitive, like many of you listening, you probably want to stick between 1 and 4 to start with, because that gives you a little bit more of a leeway to experience the shifts. Sometimes I find that if we have more than 4, then it can be a little bit overwhelming of a shift. So it's best to take it in baby steps when you're sensitive, but typically, a standard for the Bach flower system is to use between 1 and 7 essences at a time. Some people might worry about the alcohol preservative that is in the stock bottles that you'll find at the store. If you are sensitive to alcohol, even the most minute amounts, then you can also prepare a mixture bottle with a mister. So you don't actually need to ingest the flower essences because it's a vibrational healing modality. You don't actually need to drink it. You can simply put it in a misting bottle and spray it over your head, spray it around you, and that's going to give you the same effect. In fact, that's my favorite way to use the flower essences. I don't usually ingest them, but it truly is a personal preference. However, for those of you who do have those reservations about ingesting for whatever reason, this gives you a totally workable option to use the flower essences for you or someone that you love. Some people wonder about how long it takes for the flower essences to work. This is very individual, so it just depends. It depends on how consistent you are, if you're taking it 2 to 4 times a day. Sometimes it depends on your personality. It depends on your energy level, how intense the feelings are versus how moderate. And so there are plenty of factors that can come into play when you start taking the flower essences. And, a lot of times it's a belief system as well. Although when I've given them to children who don't always know exactly what they're taking it for, they do experience a shift in their energies and their behaviors. And so, sometimes it matters and sometimes it doesn't if people know. But I find with adults, if you know what you're taking them for, which most of the time you do, if you're selecting them or if a practitioner is selecting them, then you have that mental connection with the emotional states or the personality traits that you want to work into. And that's very powerful. Now, by the same token, on the opposite side of that is that sometimes when people do know, there can be a part of them that is in disbelief or in resistance to those shifts. And so I've seen that as well. In those cases, there usually is a little bit longer of a time for the flower essences to take effect, but it always has an effect on some level. Another question that I hear often is, are the flower essences safe for children and babies and expectant mothers? And the answer is yes, they are safe. They're not traditional homeopathic remedies, which have remnants of the plants in them. They actually don't. It's simply the essence of that flower that is held in the water. So it's not actually pieces of the plant that you're going to find in there that could cause side effects or allergic reactions and things like that. So they are safe for people of all ages. They're also used for plants and animals. So you can be confident in using the flower essences that no harm will be done. You will experience the shifts. And so that's the main effect that we're going for here. Okay, so we have covered some of the most common misperceptions and cleared them up with facts so that you know the difference between flower essence fact and fiction, and you can confidently try the flowers and begin using them, practicing with them, and experiencing the amazing shifts that they can bring. Thank you for joining me on the More Joy, Less Stress series, and I'll see you again soon.